Welcome to the Business Leaders Legacy Podcast, the show where we go behind the scenes with business leaders to uncover their vision, strategies, and challenges they face along the way. My name is Chris Bruner. I'm the CEO of Simple AI Solutions and the host of today's podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to have Brian Speer, owner of Building Technology Services, or BTS. Brian, thank you for being here. Can you introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little about you, your business, and the clients you serve?
Yeah, hey Chris, I appreciate you having me on today. This will be a lot of fun. I'm a little old school, so this will be my first podcast ever. So this will be fun. It's gonna be kind of cool. But my son's gonna love it. It's like, wow, Dad, you actually went into the new age, is what he would tell
Yeah.
me. But yeah, so I started off very young in construction. I always knew I wanted to be a constructor as a kid. My parents had a place up north. We're in Michigan, so a lot of lakes up here. And so I had a small little beachfront, and I built my own cities in the beach, literally with bridges, roads, buildings, and all that kind of stuff at the age of 8. So that's where it all started. And then I was in skilled trades in high school, which is one of the educational things that, I'm some of the political stuff that we work with here in Michigan. I'm trying to help some of that kind of move forward because everybody has always been pushing education, which I totally agree with for most people, but it isn't for everybody. Um, so I went through the skilled trades program when I was a kid in high school, and then I went to Ferris State University and graduated with the construction management program, and um, did pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. It took me a little bit longer than maybe some people, but I really enjoyed college. But nevertheless, I did graduate, and I graduated on a Friday, and I was working on that following Monday. So I had 2 days to move all of what little furniture I had down to South Bend, Indiana. That's where my project was, where I started the new company. So then I had started with what you would consider like a traveling, I was a traveling superintendent for a general contractor out of South Bend, Indiana. And because that type of general contractor would hire a newbie at the time, just graduated college, and give them an opportunity to actually run a project right out of college because of the traveling aspect of it all. So I was thrown into the water very early in my career. And in this industry at that time, it was either sink or swim kind of effect. It's either you made it or you didn't. And when I had first started, this is long before cell phones. We had little pagers, and every time somebody needed me, I had to get off the freeway and call from a payphone and call the subcontractor or owners or whomever back. So this is before all the really nice, fun, easy going technology we have now, which really speeds things up and also complicates things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people want that instant gratification
Mm-hmm.
of a project and stuff like that with communication. So, I did that. I was a traveling super, then finally came home back to Michigan. And after building restaurants, Hollywood videos, people that will probably my age would remember those. That's when you usually have to actually rent a DVD from a store, not like it is now where you just download it or just stream it.
Yeah.
Old technology. So I started in those. I did tenant build outs, and that's where I cut my teeth. And so then I worked from there. I came home. I got into more of into the medical field end of it all. Built a low income type service orientated family medical center is what they call it, and it's partially subsidized by the federal government and the state of Michigan here. And it was a really nice facility, state of the art facility and stuff like that. And it started, when I came back to Michigan, I did that, and then moved into larger companies that did wastewater treatment plant work, water treatment plant work, a lot of industrial, educational. Then I went into that market for a while, multi-housing units, condos and stuff like that. Um, and then, then I started my own company, which we'll get more questions later down the road on. So
Yeah.
we can
No.
go into that then. But as far as like the businesses or the clients that I serve now, a lot of them I serve in when I first started my company was educational. I started in the higher end education, Detroit Mercy here in Michigan, and then the last probably 7, 8 years, I really have focused mainly because of my client base. Because in our business, it's who you know, not what you know in the commercial world. And what you know is what keeps you in that market, but it doesn't get you into the market. So
Yeah.
I happen to know the right people, treated people correctly my whole life, and he gave me an opportunity, and off to the races I went with that. And we started doing a lot of Wendy's work, and quick service restaurants is what QSR stands for. And so that's what we do now. And a lot of the people that we work for, like the Chick-fil-A's, Arby's, KFC, Taco Bell, all those kind of quick service restaurants.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. That was a very yeah, very detailed. I really appreciate you going into the upbringing and where it all started. So that's
That's
really
where it all
cool.
started.
Yeah. What do you enjoy most about running your business nowadays?
What I enjoy most is I really, really enjoy working with people. People are everything. I've always loved working with people. I'm a people person. I love it. Every day I work with from clients to subcontractors to my own employees to vendors that really don't really have to work with me, but we both need each other in order to finish a project. Because a lot of the type of restaurants I build, the owners provide a lot of the vendors like the IT, POS systems, all the oils and stuff like that, refrigeration. And there's a lot of vendors that go into those restaurants. It's amazing how many vendors come in. But I just love dealing with them. And it's like a big puzzle for me with all these people in the market and on a project. And I like working with the client one-on-one. And that's kind of our philosophy here is that we're small general contractors. We like doing that one-on-one. My clients, when they need me, they call me and I answer right away. There's not a 2 day delay or 7 emails. I work with them, and I help coordinate projects because really, it's all said and done. The general contractor is just a coordinator. We're a conductor, and you have a good conductor, you have great harmony. Bad conductor, everybody's out of tune. And that is the same thing in construction. It's almost verbatim.
Yeah.
So I enjoy those subcontractors and people and bringing them together and being successful on a project.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I could see how that would be just the people aspect is very closely entwined with, the daily work you do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, no, that's cool. Thinking I wanted to kind of shift a little bit to trends within the industry. What are some of the biggest changes you're seeing in the commercial building industry, just over the last, couple months, couple years? Any changes you've been seeing?
Yeah, so this is part of it. So COVID was a big deal to all of us, right? We all dealt
Mhm.
with it. And when we came out of COVID, it was extremely disruptive to our industry. Backlogs of materials you couldn't even get, even if you wanted to get them. Um, and the lead times were beyond even anything we'd ever dealt with before. Cost impacts have been enormous for our clients. That to some clients, they no longer are building any more stores because they can't afford to, because of the cost of materials going up, simply because, scarcity of the materials. A lot of the vendors, a lot of suppliers, they took advantage of the situation. Some did, some didn't. And there just wasn't a lot of subcontractors out there. A lot of the talent retired in our industry. And so a lot of the older generation that was still within our trades retired. They opted to never come back. They didn't want to deal with COVID. They didn't want to deal with masks and stuff like that. So they, so anyway, so they moved on, and the scarcity of the trades caused some issues and stuff like that. So that change brought about some of the technology changes. We had to do more with less in many situations. Same with the subcontractors and stuff like that. So with that change, it was a pretty rough couple of years. It's finally evened out for the most part. But in our industry, we have so many changes that affect things, from the wars in Ukraine that affects food chain. People don't realize a lot of the grain came from Ukraine at the time, stuff like that. That caused a spike in chicken prices, which I do a lot of KFCs, and that was a real factor why pricing, stuff like that, was increased to such an extreme there for a while. And then just, like right now, we have the tariff situation. Ultimately, everybody was concerned about it, highly worried about cost impacts. A lot of suppliers like to put a little verbiage in there that they can come back to you and charge more money in case they get hit by a tariff. But really, to be honest with you, I haven't really seen tariffs affect us that much in construction, at least in my market. The larger industrial market, I have to say it probably has affected them, but not so much in my medium to light commercial market. It really hasn't been that bad.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. In regards to changes in the industry with like, are you seeing any like new tools or strategies, or, with technology, any automations, or are you seeing anything like that in your industry?
To some degree, construction is still, you got to build with your hands, no matter what. That's what's kind of nice about our industry, and one of the reasons why we enjoy it so much. We get to see what we're building, and there's only so much automation, there's only so much machinery that you can put on a job site that's really going to speed it up and help your manpower. But you have to have manpower on site. You got to have carpenters. They have to build the walls. No machine is going to build the walls. Concrete is not done by a machine. Those are still people that need to pour it and form it and take it all apart. And that's one of the reasons why I love this industry, because I always deal with people. You can't get rid of the people in our industry. You may bring in technology to help their job, to speed it up. I mean, some of the tools, the laser systems that we're having, the GPS systems we have on site equipment, that allows them to basically grade sites with never even touching their controls, has helped in regards of getting some of the operators. Operators are far and few between, so it allows less experienced operators to operate the equipment because they're not doing as much. There isn't as much fine tuning to grades and stuff like that. So you got laser systems, GPS, and then just heavy equipment that we have on the site helps move the materials around. And then technology on my end for estimating, computers have been great. I mean, I've always used them. When I first started college, I had a 286. So, I mean, that was a very old computer these days. But, so we've gone from that to being able to send drawings. And I was just telling my guys earlier, when I first started, drawings were never sent through a computer. We either had to mail them, they picked them up, or they picked them up at a print site, multiple print sites they could pick them up. And then we had, organizations that you go there and the prints would physically be on site for them to do their estimates. Now, today, I can send drawings to all of my subcontractors within minutes. Doesn't take me days anymore. So that technology has really helped us. Our cloud-based systems are wonderful because team management, I'm able to work in documents while my project manager's working in documents. My superintendent sees everything that we're working in. It's all open book. I hide nothing. My guys see what I see, from budgets to contracts to all of it, because they need that information in order to effectively communicate with subcontractors and owners for that matter. So, I mean, that's really helped. Phones, are awesome. They're great for texting, communications, and all that. And just the email communications are a big thing. Everything needs to be in writing now. The verbal days are over.
That's right.
If you verbalized it, great. You should, but you got to follow up with an email, then a text.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of changes as technology gets more and more advanced that are, taking an impact on a wide variety of businesses and industries. But yeah, that makes sense how it is affecting you guys. I wanted to shift a little bit to where you are at in your business, right? What's currently working really well for BTS, and what's like makes you the most proud?
I think it's our interaction with the client. Again, it goes back to people. People make you or break you in this business. That comes from client, the subcontractor, the supplier, to your vendors, everybody, including my guys that work in the field. And and by treating them with respect and treating them with the dignity that they deserve, and that communication is everything in our business. And I'm really proud to say that, we go out of our way sometimes to probably over communicate, because in this day and age, people think you just send an email and you communicate. And I don't feel that is not proper communication. Send an email because you need it written, but then you call them and then you text them and you communicate, and you're always in constant communication. You just can't call them once and expect people to show up. And same with the vendors and even with owners. Sometimes you got to prod them along a little bit and help themselves in essence. And I'm really proud of what we do and that communication. And we always put the client first. And not all GCs do that. The good ones do. And that's why they're very successful, because the client should always be number one. But I have met others that don't, and that philosophy I've never agreed with, because we're there to help them through what is a very difficult process. It's every day to me, so it doesn't really seem all that difficult, nor scary or cumbersome, because I've done this my whole life. But to a client that's never built a building or has never done a build out, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Like, people, when they build a new house, they don't realize how difficult it truly is, because there's a lot that goes into it. And when that's what I'm there for, is to help take that stress away from the client, help them do their job more efficiently by taking on the responsibility of the vendors and coordinating everybody, being that conductor that can help them succeed and focus on other projects, because they have way too many projects to deal with at any given time. Because now one guy or person has to do the job of three. And that's the way the world works now. So they have more work, more responsibility, but not any more time than they had before. So that's my job, is to give them that time and be low maintenance.
Yeah, and I could see how definitely communication is a huge part of that. And having the right team, having the right attitude, putting the client first, that all makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. I wanted to ask, what about challenges? What are some of maybe the headaches or bottlenecks, things that maybe take up too much time that you're facing in the business right now?
Probably the biggest bottleneck is for me in the grand scheme of things is reaching out to new clients. Um, it's difficult because, like I said earlier, it's about who you know, not what you know in my market, in my
Mm.
specific market. And getting in with new clients, like Culver's, for instance, is very difficult. It's about who you know to get you in and build that next project. Because there's just a lot of GCs just like me, and everybody has their favorites. Each one, you
Yeah.
know, they have their good ones, and there's a lot of good contractors out there. And it's hard to break into that market and be that new guy. And if I can just do one job with a new client, then they never look back. I mean,
Yeah.
I worked with clients for over a decade, and it's the same client. I built a building 8 years ago, and I just did another remodel for him. 8 years
Yeah.
later, he's calling me back because we always take care of him. And so that's one of the issues.
Yeah, no, I could see how that can be tough. But yeah, definitely, like you had said, just getting that foot in the door can open
Yeah,
up so many more opportunities. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to ask about kind of where you are taking your company, right? Looking ahead, 6 to 12 months down the road, do you have goals and what are you doing to achieve those goals?
So where I want to take the company is I want to grow some more, but not a lot. I like being a small general contractor. Makes me versatile. It also makes it so I can choose the clients I want to work for. I'm not what we call feeding the machine. So I'm not hiring a bunch of staff and then I got to take projects that are questionable because there's clients out there that are very questionable clients that general contractors, good or bad, get burned by. And
Mm.
that helps me avoid that dynamic with those type of clients. It allows me to work with the same clients. It allows me to also um, give the client a lot more attention that many of the larger GCs just can't do because they are what we would call feeding the machine. So they'll have 12 projects. We have 2 or 3 at any given time. And we have project manager, a couple of superintendents. My wife, she runs the office and does all the books, and she rules the roost at the office. That's for sure. Even tells me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all of that is helping us to go to that next level. But I don't want to grow to the point where I have too many projects where I can't talk to my clients anymore. I talk to my clients on a daily basis, and they'll call me about projects that aren't even my projects because of our knowledge and our ability, and because we care about the client's success, whether it's ours or not, it's irrelevant. I just want my client to always be successful. And if that means helping them navigate a project on another project and help them with some of what we did, because we're pretty self-reliant. We don't need a whole lot of input from our client. So a lot of the stuff we do in the background, they don't even know what we're doing. And then they do other projects, other GCs, and they're a little bit more high maintenance. So, well, what did you do here? Or what did you do there? And I was like, bang, bang, bam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's why you did it that way. Like, yeah. So, I don't want to get to that point where I don't have that connection with my clients anymore because
Mhm.
then that takes all the fun out of it. I want them to say, "Oh yeah, BTS, they are it." You would be insane not to hire them because you hire them, you can walk away from the project, and then you show back up at the end, and it's done. The quality is phenomenal because we do self-perform. That's one of our key abilities to be so successful. We have carpenters on staff and very, very good ones. because quality, we finish projects on time, quality, and we're low maintenance on a project, because we go into projects with, the store's still operating. We'll demo the dining room until they got the exterior, while they're still operating within the kitchen. We create a barrier, that won't, and we create like a complete barrier, and then we are filtering the air all the time and create what we call a negative pressure, so the air comes toward us instead of into the kitchen kind of situation. So there's no dust impacts, there's no debris, we're fully separated from the kitchens, and we're working in conjunction with them, and we don't have issues. Every operator that's on site, they love our guys. We're very polite. Our guys are skilled, and that's what allows us to be successful in that regard.
Yeah, I could see how that's so important, such a crucial part of it. Um, when you think about scaling and growing, it sounds like I'd like to know your perspective on how you want to grow, right? It sounds like you're not really looking for a ton of volume, but is it more of like more specialized or services, or how do you want to grow?
Well, I just moved to where I'm at now, this office, in Plymouth, Michigan. And the reason I had picked Plymouth, Michigan, it's an awesome town. It's a small town flavor by Metro Detroit, has a downtown. And I picked this area, I've always enjoyed it. And one of my quests, what I wanted to do is I need a better spread. I have a lot of good clients in, the quick service restaurant market, but I really want to get back to working with small businesses in the local area and help them remodel their restaurants, because they've never done it before and they don't know what they're doing. And you need a guy like me to help navigate that process, because it is a very arduous process from start to finish for a person that's never built them before. And
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing that part of the work. And that's the market I'm trying to open up here, and I have for about a year and a half. But it's a hard market to break into. Again, you just got to find that right person, of who to break in.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, it's very interesting in regards to like breaking into that market and with like sales getting into that market. What challenges, maybe if you don't mind breaking it down a little bit more, what challenges do you have that maybe like have to be solved before you can really get into that market?
The biggest challenge is, well, name recognition. We did create a website and that kind of stuff to help with all that. It is getting in, it is finding, like, in our market, when we do a tenant build out, it's all about finding out who the developers are and learning who they are and getting in with them and becoming their new general contractor. Because all these, unless they're new, they have guys like me already. So now I need to prove to them, why would you want to hire me? Well, there's two things that they look for. One is price. It's always price. And the
Mm.
two is, what kind of service do you bring to them? Or will you be a low maintenance type general contractor? And some don't even know what that even is or what that even really means. So how do you try to explain to them, hey, this is what I do, this is how I can help you, and this is why you need me. And if they've never built a building before, they truly don't understand why they really need you until they've done it. And then they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's there's a lot of hurdles out there. And then so if I can just find a couple of a lot of it's like commercial real estate, commercial real estate around the area that operates like the malls or these all these small businesses and everything, because this is a downtown, so a lot of these
Yeah.
guys rent or lease their space. What I'm trying to get to is the people that are real estate that lease these spaces. I need to get to them. I need to get to the developers in the area and try to get in with that local group. And once I find one, then it'll expand from there. Because once we do a project, our reputation precedes us from there on out. But it is difficult to find that one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where our trouble is. And even with joining, a lot of the groups here in the community has helped to some degree, but still hasn't opened up that door. We're still working on that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. And I can see how that can take time and a lot of effort and
It
focus
does.
to really make that connection.
Yep.
Well, Brian, I really appreciate you giving the insight, giving the background, just a lot of the information you gave today was very insightful. I think our listeners will really appreciate it. Before we go, can you share with our listeners where they can find more out about BTS?
Yeah. So we have a website. It's btscontractor.com. That'll show past projects, current projects, a lot of our philosophy. We meet our staff, the people that part of the company. It'll have a lot of recommendations from past clients, and you'll see our corporate resume. Schooling I've done, a lot of the projects that I've performed, dollar amounts and stuff like that. So yeah, if any of your any listeners want to check out our website at btscontractor.com, we're right there, and just email us and we can help them.
Thank you. To close, I'd like to ask one last question since this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast, and you, as a business leader, owner of BTS, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
The legacy I want to leave behind is I want to make our industry better. And it has, at least on our end, is getting better. That customer service has really degraded over time, where the contractors were about themselves and not the client. And my legacy is to help my guys, which they're wonderful, um, understand the need for that and to make our industry better, to help bring in new trades back into our industry. That's what I'm trying to help volunteer a lot of my time in, is in that skilled trades. And my own son's going to be a carpenter instead of going to college. He said college wasn't for him. He's going to be a skilled carpenter, and I love it. I said, absolutely, I love it. I totally support you 100%. And I want that for our future, because without all the skilled trades, general contractors nothing without our people. And I want that to be better. I want them to have opportunities, and where everybody gets a fair wage too.
Yeah.
And you treat your subcontractors with respect. You pay your subcontractors. I want them to feel that, hey, absolutely, I'll work for this general contractor anytime, night or day, because they pay their bills, their jobs are organized, and they make money. Because the best subcontractor on a job is one that makes money.
Yeah.
You want them to make money. Otherwise, why are they there for? So
Yeah.
I want our industry to be more open. I want it to be more honest with our clients. There's a lot of parts of our industry and appreciating.
Yeah.
And I
That
don't
makes
like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it seems like just hearing about your perspective on all these different parts of the business, it seems like you're already making that impact. So
You've
awesome.
tried. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all the listeners tuning in. If you enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe. Again, this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. See you, buddy.